If you're down to GhostBed versus Leesa, you've come to the right place. I'm going to be telling you what's similar about the mattresses, what's different. I'm going to be running these mattresses through a number of tests, and by the end of the video, you're going to have a very good idea of which one you should get, so stay tuned. Let's talk about what's similar between these two mattresses. Number one, they're both all foam mattresses. Number two, they have a very similar base polyfoam layer. They also have a layer of memory foam in the second layer, and they also have a top layer that's either latex or latex-like. Now let's talk about what's different between these two mattresses. Number one is firmness differences. I believe, and I think most people agree, that the GhostBed is firmer than the Leesa. Also the thickness, so the GhostBed overall is 11 inches thick versus 10 for the Leesa, yet the comfort part of the Leesa is actually half an inch thicker than the GhostBed. Then GhostBed uses latex, whereas Leesa uses a latex-like foam, and some of the densities of the foams are a little bit different as well. Let's talk about the construction of both mattresses and what the differences are. And the differences here are going to be subtle. So starting with the cover, pretty similar cover. The texture is a little bit different. I don't think the covers are going to affect the feel too much, so you shouldn't base your decision really on differences in cover. But now to the mattress. So they have a pretty similar base layer. The base layer is polyfoam. With the GhostBed, it's a little bit thicker, but I would say pretty similar overall. So the construction of the comfort layers is pretty similar as well. So you get 1.5 inches of latex with GhostBed, then 2 inches of gel memory foam. Whereas you have 2 inches of Avena Foam, which is a latex-like foam that's supposed to be a little bit more durable, but has some of the same properties, so bounce, good response, things of that nature. And then memory foam underneath that 2 inches. So the comfort layer in total is 4 inches with the Leesa versus 3.5 inches, so very similar. Potentially if you're a heavier side sleeper, having a thicker comfort layer could be beneficial so you don't bottom out. But the differences are pretty subtle. So you get the pressure relief from the memory foam in both cases in that second layer. You still get good response and bounce and breathability from the top Avena for Leesa and then latex for GhostBed. So you can see that it's just a very similar construction with just subtle differences where the overall thickness is a little bit different. The comfort layer thickness is a little bit more for the Leesa, which potentially could be better for heavier side sleepers, all things being considered. So just know that it's very, very similar mattresses with just very subtle differences. Let's talk about differences in firmness and feel. Given that the construction of both mattresses are so similar, I would say the firmness and feel differences is where you should base your decision on. So as far as firmness is concerned, I'd put the Leesa at about a 6.5 out of 10, with 10 being the firmest, and GhostBed at about a 7.5 out of 10. So the GhostBed is definitely firmer than the Leesa. Martin on my team had a little bit of a different take as far as the total score out of 10, but he does agree that the GhostBed is firmer than the Leesa. As far as feel is concerned, they both have a pretty similar feel. So they have a latex or latex-like layer on top and then memory foam underneath that. So it really has a balanced foam feel. They both have some bounce to it. Not a whole bunch of bounce, but a little bit. It's easy to move around, pretty good response time. So definitely the feel is actually pretty similar, but they do have that firmness difference. So I've talked about the construction differences and kind of given my subjective opinion about firmness and feel, but now let's give you an objective test that shows exactly how well both mattresses relieve pressure. We do that with a pressure map test. I basically get down on a pressure map, lie down on my backside and stomach, and you'll see anywhere from blue, no pressure, all the way up to red to high pressure. What really matters here is the side sleeping. So you'll see if we throw up the results there with the Leesa, there's a little bit of redness under the hips, but pretty good underneath the shoulders. With GhostBed, it's pretty good underneath the hips, but definitely there's some bright red under the shoulders. So I would probably give a little bit of an advantage overall as far as pressure relief is concerned to Leesa.
Hey guys, Martin here to offer a different perspective. Joe is 5'9", 160. I'm 6'7", 230. Definitely a different body type, and I want to give you my experience with these two mattresses. So we have the Leesa here and the GhostBed. So for the Leesa, I said this was a 7.5 out of 10. For the GhostBed, I said it was an 8.5 out of 10. So with the Leesa on my side, really nice pressure relief on my shoulder and my hips. On my back, good overall support. However, on my stomach, I definitely felt myself kind of bow in there at my hips. Over on the GhostBed, on my side, a little bit too firm for me. I felt some pressure on my shoulder and my hips. On my back though, good overall support. On my stomach, same thing, good overall support. So that being said, if you're my size and you're a side sleeper, I would go with the Leesa here. If you're a back sleeper and you're my size, either mattress should work for you. However, if you're a stomach sleeper, I would go with the GhostBed.
If you sleep with a partner, there's two additional things you might want to consider. So we call that motion isolation and edge support. So motion isolation is basically if your partner moves around on that side of the bed, is that motion going to be isolated or is it going to transfer over to you and you're going to be disturbed by it? Edge support is, can you sleep all the way towards the edge of the bed and not feel like you're going to fall off? So in this case, with motion isolation, I'd probably give Leesa just a tiny bit of an advantage. They are pretty similar in how they perform, but I think Leesa maybe does just a little bit better of a job as far as isolating motion. As far as edge support is concerned though, I feel that GhostBed wins here. You can tie your shoes a little bit easier. You can sleep more towards the edge of the bed without feeling like you're falling off. So give Leesa a little bit of an advantage on motion isolation and GhostBed the edge support advantage. Now let's talk about who should get the GhostBed and who should get the Leesa. Given that the construction and general feel of the two mattresses are so similar, I think it really just comes down to firmness preferences. So I'm convinced that most of you will agree that the GhostBed is firmer than Leesa. So if you're looking for something a little bit firmer, maybe you're just like a back or pure stomach sleeper, potentially the GhostBed could be the better choice. And then on the other hand, if you want something a little bit softer, maybe you're just a side sleeper, for example, or maybe you're a heavier side sleeper and you don't want to bottom out, then the Leesa potentially could be a good choice. But just again, given that the construction is so similar, you just really need to know if you want something a little bit firmer or a little bit softer. So to wrap up, I think given that the construction, again, between the two mattresses, it's very similar, so it really just is going to come down to your firmness preferences. If you want something that's a little bit firmer, maybe go with the GhostBed. If you want something that's a little bit softer, maybe go with the Leesa. If you still can't decide, I'm happy to give you a personal recommendation, so you can always just leave a comment below. And then if you're just getting started with your research, definitely check out mattressclarity.com. If you want to see a list of our top picks, you can just Google Mattress Clarity Best Mattress. And again, let me know if you have any questions.